I don't know if y'all saw this, but QC's been in the news of late.
I did. I saw Coach K
and P
on Ari Melber on MSNBC talking about this one with Scooter Braun.
Yeah, I think it's called. Is it Hybe or is it Hybe? I hope I'm not pronouncing it wrong. HYBE. That's the name. It's called.
That's the company.
Yeah, Hybe America maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It's led by him, and the acquisition was $300 million. They say it's still going to be a partnership, so they'll have some say so. They'll still have some say so, but Braun will be the, I guess, final decision in terms of stuff. So the artists will still be on there, but they no longer have. We'll just say the final say so after the
Bieber
partnership.
about to be on QC.
Bieber definitely about to be on QC. Who was on there? Yachty. Who am I missing?
City Girls.
Migos technically aren't anymore because Offset left.
Right.
So now there's just
Quavo.
Quavo.
Yeah.
Quavo alone. Who else is on there?
Let's see.
Duke Deuce.
Duke Deuce. Yep. We was talking about Memphis earlier. But I also saw backlash. People in the black community and black Twitter and hip hop in general was saying, "Man, we never can own anything. Why do we always have to give up ownership?"
I understand it, but there's two sides to that coin.
Talk to me about the two sides.
All right, so in a sense, as far as keeping the culture within the culture,
okay,
I understand the argument. But technically, when you own something, a lot of times the end game is to sell it off. Now, if you want to pick and choose who you sell it to, that's a different story. But I get why they want to sell it off.
For the record,
maybe they want to move on and do something else.
For the record, real quick, bro, it's $300 million in cash plus stock in the company.
I mean, that's a lot of money.
So,
I mean,
but go ahead, but finish your thought.
I'm
sorry, I just want you to get the numbers.
Well, no, it's just more so. I understand people being upset about essentially selling the culture outside of the culture to somebody else to essentially represent this brand. Obviously, Scooter Braun does not look like somebody that would own QC.
I agree.
When you look at the roster and where these people came from or whatnot, it's just one of those things where it looks weird, essentially. And then Coach K and what's his name? P have been the face of QC. And it's just weird to see Justin Bieber's manager essentially owning these artists essentially right now. So, I mean, I get it. But at the end of the day, somebody is still rich off of this.
Hey, he says Braun says QC is one of the most significant independent labels in the world. They not only distribute music, but they also distribute culture. Their artists are the voices of their communities. So, to your point, now he'll be representing what...
Is Lil Baby on QC? I believe he is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's the most successful artist right now.
Yeah, Lil Baby definitely is. Yeah, he's that dude for sure. Go ahead, Jay Moore.
Well, they said it in Terry said it is like you build these companies up so you can sell them.
Right.
There's all this mindset of selling out, but really this is about people buying in. Okay. And also when you talk about $300 million, do you realize the amount of capital that is for you to be able to do other things?
That's a good point.
And just because they sold this off, it's like, okay, what are they going to create next?
Exactly.
They're going to create something else with that $300 million. To hopefully
transmission.
To hopefully where, okay, whatever we create with this, we'll be able to sell that for $1 billion next time. It's not like they gave them a deal and said, all right, this is the best you can do. And look, they probably negotiated $300 million was what was their number.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of times, I think it's brilliant because think about it. When you own a record label, you're essentially in 2023, you own something that doesn't sell anything.
You're an anomaly.
That's the crazy thing. You're owning they paid $300 million for a company that doesn't sell anything. They stream things.
Mm-hmm. Stream a lot.
But, think about it. When it was Death Row, they're at least selling something. When it was Bad Boy, when it was Master P and Cash Money and No Limit, at least you could say, hey, they're selling something.
They had a product.
You can quantify it through, they sold 1.7 million of this.
That's true.
They pulled 3 million of this. Like, I think it's a genius move and incredible when literally they sold for $300 million. They sold something that doesn't sell anything.
And they sold their IP. That's
the
really,
IP, and that's really all you. That's really all anybody has now, because no one actually buys anything.
Yeah.
You know, I don't, just like we talked about how we don't buy video games anymore. We get them through subscription services. You know, we stream all of our music.
Yeah.
We stream all of our movies. You know, so, and right now they're still trying to figure out that business plan, because, you know, Spotify doesn't make any money. Netflix is, when you look at their balance sheet, like, because, you know, this is when I look into things to invest in, I'm like, wait a minute, they don't sell anything. In fact, they're always in the red. You know, so they're still figuring out a business plan, but they're like, okay, well, we know somewhere down the line we'll be able to make this $300 million make sense. We may not be able to make sense right now, but look, we need to get in on the ground floor of this. And once again, $300 million is significant capital to do other things, to go into other business ventures. There might be, because you don't want to stick around too long trying to do this, because you'll wake up one day and nobody cares. Like, I don't want to say nobody cares, but you'll wake up one day and be like, oh, Bad Boy's not hot anymore.
Well, what's going on with 𝐀𝐁𝐴 and Offset right now? It might been the best thing for him to do.
Like, I remember when
I didn't even think about it like that.
Straight up.
When Russell Simmons sold Fat Farm for $150 million, it was to a company in St. Louis called 𝐀𝐁𝐴. And just looking a couple years after that, I don't think it was, if you'd have put $150 million inside one of those hoodies, Fat Farm wasn't worth $150 million.
He sold the farm.
He sold it literally when people didn't care. Like, so, I mean, it was a great business move for them. Not so much for 𝐀𝐁𝐴, because I don't think they even did anything with that particular IP after, because it just wasn't hot anymore.
He sold in Winsat Indian style.
Lona, I want to hear what you think. What you think about this acquisition, man? What do you think?
I think
is the backlash? How you feel about that part? Is that
the backlash comes from poor people?
Exactly.
Okay.
Who don't own it? Who instead of understanding what it is to own a piece of something, they'd rather own 100% of nothing.
Lone, talk to me, man. What just thoughts in general?
Well, I mean, Jay kind of makes the point that I was going to make, to the sense of, I feel like it. We're all saying it's a good thing for them, just from, again, I'm going to bring it up again, I guess, every episode, from a capitalist ideology.
There we go.
But I mean, let's be real. I mean, that's what it is. We're praising them for being good capitalists.
True.
So
it's the American way.
The thing that kind of stands out to me is, here's where I think it could potentially be problematic down the line, is if we talk about monopolies, and we talk about a certain type of person that is buying up all these people's music, who is literally going to then be a capital owner of that specific thing. This gives QC money, but it removes capital in that aspect.
Okay.
So in this aspect, QC is no longer capital owners of this specific thing that they've built. They have sold all of that capital to somebody else. Now somebody else owns that. Now, I don't know. I mean, it does give them, I feel like the arguments are valid for, now they can build something else. You know, now they can do whatever they want with everything they want to do. But I do kind of, I don't want to say I'm worried, but I'm wary of people, of people that come in and just buy stuff up and then will collectively make money off of this essentially forever, and will own. I mean, think about other monopolies that we have in this country, right? Think about the food industry, and it's owned by like, what, 7 companies or something, or the airlines or stuff like that. So yes, we're talking about media, but in the same sense, it's kind of the same thing. And when I look at it from that lens, it's just, it's kind of problematic to me.
Yeah, you're right, and it kind of also depends on these artists, how their deals are structured. So if their deals are structured to where they own some sort of their publishing, them owning QC doesn't do a whole lot to them. I'm sure that, it factors in money somewhere in there, but it's not stealing all their property essentially. So, now it is interesting to see what's going to happen with this.
What do you guys think about, a slightly devil's advocate here, but what do you guys think about how Master P talked about No Limit in the beginning when he said he had got that first offer? He said, well, if this person
from Interscope, I remember that.
What am I really worth? Like, is it the $300 million? Now, far be it for me to be counting pockets for somebody to get $300 million. Like, get your money and do what you got to do. But is that if it's valued at $300 million in terms of this partnership or this negotiation, they jumped on it quick. Does a part of me think, I wonder what it would have been worth if somebody else would have offered? Could I have received 5 from somebody else on the Master P type thought?
Well, essentially, you're supposed to, if you sell something, somebody that's buying it wants to leave some room in there for them to make money.
That's true.
That's
true.
just how you do things.
That's true.
That at least what I was taught or how I learned is if you're selling something off or if you're buying something, you want to leave some wiggle room in there for you to make money. And the other party understands that too. So they're purchasing it or accepting the offer knowing that they're still gaining something out of it.
Yeah.
So
I can dig that.
Well, it's also when you sell it, because you want to make sure that you're selling high. What if
That's a good point.
They decide, no, we want to hold on to it in 3 years, QC is not the label it is now.
Right.
And then they said, hey, remember when we were going to offer you $300 million? We'll give you 25 now.
That's a good point.
But at the same time, I mean, it's all a certain level of gambling, because what if the next person they put out on QC winds up being Drake? And then you're like, oh, well, now it's 600 million if you want. But that's the whole. That is capitalism.
Yeah.
That is like every day when I look at my portfolio, I'm like, wow, I should have bought this. I should have bought this then, or I should have sold this then.
Pork bellies.
Well, no, I don't mess.
Pork bellies?
I don't mess with.
I know. I was just
I'm not
throwing
into
some out
that level of investment. I know what you're talking about. Frozen concentrated orange juice. Shout out to everybody who remembers Trading Places. But I just feel like I feel like it was a good move for them.
Yeah.
Because like I said, every record label other than really Cash Money, we talked about several episodes ago. At one point we were like, man, I would love to have a part of Slip and Slide. Or, man, 𝐀𝐄, imagine being down with Death Row. And then you look up and like Death Row is just being passed around. Luckily Snoop
as an NFT.
Yeah, luckily Snoop and I saw the announcement that the Death Row catalog will be going back to streaming services.
Now I'm happy about that.
Now, mind you, people got to understand what the Death Row catalog is. That's Snoop's 2 albums. That's going to be Dog Food.
Yep.
It's going to be Murder Was the Case soundtrack, which is a big deal.
Oh, is that coming back?
I need that.
Murder
I
Was
need
the Case
that.
has not been on streaming.
You might get lucky and find it on YouTube.
No, it's on YouTube.
But does it have all the songs?
First of all, everything's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm just checking.
I've definitely listened to it on YouTube.
I always feel like it was missing joints, but I'm with you. I'm with you.
So, but once again, it depends on who. It really ownership it determines who makes those decisions of what goes on streaming, what streaming app it winds up being on, because you can make those exclusive deals and say, okay, this is only on Tidal or only on whatever.
I mean, the article said he will have the final say so. Like, it's still somewhat of a partnership, but he's
still getting percentages of something.
He's getting.
I mean, that's what I mean. Like,
once again, they said it's a partnership. They didn't just there's a big deal. There's a big
they
difference.
bought into it. Essentially.
Yeah. Once again, there's a big difference between selling out and buying in. And
so
buying in.
He's going to be the head guy. They walked away with 300 of them things, and to Jay Moore's point, we'll see.
Seems like a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey,
I can't frown at that.
I can't frown at 300 million on something that I built.
Let's see if he brings some of that back to Nap though. I'd like to see that.
Yeah,
because it's a wrap for anybody from Nap sounding the QC now.